places. Yeah, that is that I try to do in my short free time.
Okay. Only one thing is there a little bit weird. It's, for instance,
Yeah, this.
in the introduction, you
Mhm.
don't have to break down examples.
Ah,
It is not
okay.
advisable. You can do it, of course, but it is not advisable.
Okay.
Instead, you can use another ways of expressing what are you going to explain along the essay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for example, you can say you can state in other words. For instance, you can say the two most important parts, right, or the two more
Mm-hmm.
factors that impact on social media on youth. You can say like this,
Mm-hmm. The two more
or the two more
important.
prominent, maybe a
The
bit more
two more,
sophisticated.
yeah, prominent. That sounds so good.
Yes, prominent.
Prominent
And then
aspects.
impacts or aspects of this.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, for example, as we are talking about social media, you can say digital revolution.
Mm-hmm. Regarding social media, you say?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then you can start breaking down the ideas.
Mm-hmm.
It means that you are going to talk about what in this case?
Mm, I think I like the this idea that in this the nowadays in this comparative world, the people have the that facility to be recognizing just for be themselves, and even they can work just in that way, and even for obvious reasons, social media make the make easier to know people from several places
Yes.
with different mindsets and those things.
You can say maybe the two most prominent as you consider, maybe the creative opportunities that social
Mm,
media affords and the exposure to advertising
mm,
on social media. It could be
afford.
harmful or maybe it could be positive in some way.
Okay, I would put it in my mind. When I
For
will.
example, what about creative ways? You can start giving examples on the first body paragraph about that social media is very useful to advertise your business,
Mm-hmm,
to create useful content, and
mm-hmm.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have the ideas, but I was planning because tomorrow I have kind of think of.
Yes. Okay. And yeah, that way you can do it. And
Yeah,
about the
okay.
lesson, I'm gonna provide you with very extensive feedback of your essay, if you
Yeah,
finish, of course. Okay.
yeah, I will do it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So now we're gonna work on page number. Let me see, 13, please.
13. Yeah, I'm there.
Okay. We're going to continue from what we led off on the previous lesson. Okay. Number one, we have to underline the correct sentence, the correct option. Sorry. Number one, it
Okay.
says, I think there is an obvious or there is a clear, a distinct plain possibility that Djokovic might win.
I think uh cl- okay, being completely honest, it sounds so, but I mean between obvious and clear, but I
Yes,
would choose maybe clear. Sounds
clear.
better.
Yes, clear is the one that sounds more natural. Perfect. Clear is the correct answer. Number two, nice. He only has a
Mm-hmm.
slight, long,
Slide.
thin chance of winning the election. He's very unpopular.
Mm, a fair chance, a
Yes.
slight chance, a long chance, a thin chance. I think a slight chance
Yes, a slight chance because he is unpopular. So
is
it is
unpopular.
unlikely that he is going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, there is very, there is every, sorry, there is each, there is all, or there is very likelihood that the government will introduce the measures to this year.
There's a very likelihood. There is very likelihood.
Very likely, do you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but being completely honest, I don't remember what is the meaning of likelihood. And you told me the last class.
Yes, likelihood means possibility or
Ah,
probability.
the possibility. That
Yes.
is.
This is a kind like a fixed expression is every likelihood.
Every
That is
likelihood.
every likelihood. Como decir,
Mm,
like we say in Spanish, todas las probabilidades.
There
Yes,
is. Mm, yeah.
yes,
Okay, okay.
it's every likelihood that the government will introduce the measures
The
to
measure
resume.
this year. Mhm.
Number four, there were far more of them than us. We didn't stand, we didn't face, we didn't hold, or we didn't keep a chance against them.
We did it. Keep a chance
Do you
against them.
remember the one that we practiced? This phrase, stand a chance.
Stand a chance.
Yes, we didn't
Mm,
stand a chance against
we
them.
did it. Stand a chance. Okay.
So we didn't have any chance to.
Any chance, yeah.
Yes,
Stand a chance, any chance.
great. Number five. I'm afraid the project will connect, will join, will meet, or will contact with failure. Do you remember?
Fred, Project Will, Connect, Join, Med, Contact. Este es. This is.
With failure.
Let me see. I get it, I got it. Midwit?
Meet.
Midwit. Mm-hmm.
Yes, meet
Midwit
with
failure.
failure. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Number six. He had never acted before, but he aroused, or he raised to the challenge and gave in a very convincing performance.
That is
This is a little bit
so
tricky.
similar. Yeah, I could be just
First
because
of all,
I
you have to discard it. Aroused, no,
mm,
because that is not
a
the
rose no.
no. Erased as
Uh,
well, not
yeah. I think maybe raise it.
raised. No,
Raised.
rose, rose,
Rose.
rose is the
That
is the
rose.
correct form of this verb. The past
Mm,
form of this verb, roast.
rose.
Yes.
Okay, that is one that I never see
Why?
it.
Because this is an idiom actually. Rise the challenge. To rise the
Ra
challenge. Yes. It means
rise the challenge.
to move up or show that you are capable of doing something.
Uh,
Yes.
Rose a challenge. Yeah, the thing is that is in past. Yeah, rise a challenge,
Yes.
rose a challenge. Yeah, okay.
As I told you, this is you use this expression to show that you are able to deal with a problem or a difficult situation
Mm-hmm.
successfully.
Okay.
Number seven, right? No,
Yeah.
number eight. Yes, number seven.
Yeah. Seven.
At 85, she says she is unlikely to realize her resounding, longing, lifelong, or overall ambition of learning to fly.
Ambition. Uh, to learning to fly. Okay, this sounds more. Mm, it don't sounds like long link will be resounding either. I think lifelong maybe.
Lifelong is the correct answer. Perfect.
Mhm.
Lifelong ambition. And the last one, please. The last candidate appeared to be fully, wholly, utterly, or entirely qualified for the job.
Fully qualified.
Fully qualified. Great. That is. Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go over how to write an informal email. Okay, this is not that difficult as well.
Yeah, that is not
Okay,
difficult
so
at all.
let's go back to the Google Drive folder. By the way, I uploaded here the B2, the C1 phrases that I promised.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, you can find it here. For example, for the part one, for the interview,
Hmm.
for the part two, the long term, the pictures comparison, right? The part three, the collaborative task. Part three, the part four, the discussion, the further discussion as well. And yeah, you have a great deal of phrases here.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's open up the C1 Advanced Writing Guide. Let me open up and let's go to the informal email. We have sample email,
Format
sample
email.
email. I think it's in page number 36, I guess.
There is six. Say, say.
Yes, the informal email.
Yeah,
Page
emails.
6.
Emails and letters. 35, 36.
As you know, emails and letters are exactly the same, right?
Yeah.
The structure and so on.
Hmm.
So, as you know, what is the purpose of an email, my dear Diego?
Yeah, the purpose of email is to receive an answer.
Yes, to receive a reply. Okay, and it depends on the style, right? For example, if you are replying to a friend, the language style has to be informal at some
Hmm.
extent. But for example, if you're writing a letter application for a job, for example, you have to be formal. Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
so this structure is like this. There it is. Okay, you have you need an opening paragraph. Okay,
Yeah.
you have to greet, the salutation, and a closing paragraph. An introductory and closing paragraphs, you know. And the main body paragraphs will consist of as many paragraphs as the ideas you are asked to write about. Okay,
Mm.
so you have here one sample task. You have received an email from an English speaking friend, right? So it says, as you know, I'll be attending a language course in your town next month. Lessons are in the mornings, so I am free in the afternoons and weekends. What's the best way to spend my free time there? Perhaps you can suggest a few indoor as well outdoor activities. Remember
Mm.
that I'm not much a sports fan. You have to write your email between using between 220 and 260 words. Alright,
Mm.
and here you will find a model answer.
Do not include any subject or
Yes,
email address. Ah, okay.
you can start like this, being a little bit informal. Hi, hey, how's it going, mate? Things are just well over here. The weather is great, and I will be off work soon for a couple of weeks. So it means that you're going to be on vacation. So it is
Mhm.
absolutely fantastic that you're doing the course you told me about here in Granada. Here's a couple of things you keep you busy in your spare time. You see, instead of saying your free time, you can use this one,
Spare
spare
time.
time. Yes,
Mhm.
which VTW, you've got tons of, haven't you? If
Mm.
the weather's not that great when you're here, though I doubt it, you may want to make the most of the cafes and teas and tea rooms in Granada. Tea rooms are a great part of social life here, and you can find a bunch of them around Elvira Street. They all serve super tasty Muslim style tea, and some even have stand up performances on weekends. So make sure you check them out, will you? However, the weather is most definitely going to be great at some point during your stay. Remember, this is Andalusia, so walking up and down the city is the best way to get to know it. Besides, walking will help you get rid of those extra kilos you put on over Christmas. Just pick a few spots there you would like to visit and check them out as well with your classmates after your lessons. Okay, and you close your paragraph, sorry,
Mhm.
your email. Anyways, bro, I would better get it going. I've got tons of things to do before my holidays. Let me know if there is anything else I can give you a hand with. Take care. Well,
Paul.
as you know,
Paul Takuchi.
yes,
Yeah.
it is not that difficult.
Yeah. It not so difficult or even writing it easier than they say.
Okay, so your homework as well is going to be to write this task, the informal
Yeah.
email. It says that you have this is a part of an email you received from a friend. I failed the last time I auditioned for a part in the college play. So there
Oh.
is another audition coming up soon. So this friend is asking you, how did you manage to get a part? Do you
Mm.
have any tips, any advice to help me overcome my nerves? And do you think getting some extra drama lessons would be worth it? Would be
Mm.
helpful? So you have to write about this, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so let's go over the next part. That is about pronunciation. Okay, in this part we're gonna not take so much care of this because it is
Mm.
only about word stress and you know how to pronounce these words, right?
Yeah.
Motivate, recognize,
Motivate.
generous, right? It is only that it's a little bit like it could be useful for listening specifically
Mhm.
when the speakers are talking very quickly. For example, if the nouns that end with the suffixes iri, right, schon
Sure.
or schon as well. The stress there is always on the syllable immediately before the suffix. It
Mm,
is irrespective of the position of the stress in the verb or the adjective from which the noun is formed. For example, we have generosity. Where is the stress from here? The stressed sound.
raw. City, yeah, the raw, the part of RO.
Yes. Okay, you can see here. In the ones that end with ity, like society or anxiety, the stress is in the letter I.
Mm-hmm.
Society, anxiety, sensitivity, irreliability, curiosity. Okay, and for those for nouns that end with the suffix iety, the stress there is always on the letter I of the suffix. For example, supervision, resignation, repetition, resolution, and satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is. So let's jump right to the next part because this is only a game, and I think we have to make the most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go over the speaking part. I would like you to open up this file,
Mm-hmm.
the speaking phrases, so we
Okay.
can put into practice them right now.
Okay. Let me open the folder
For example,
here.
this is the speaking part one, the interview. You can use these ones to discuss about the following questions. You're gonna ask me all of them. You're gonna tell me, sorry, all of them. So over the last few years or recently, has the way you spend your free time changed much?
Okay, just give me a second. I'm opening the part. This is the part one, you said,
Yes,
right?
part one. Yes.
Part one, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Okay, there is a lot of phrasing.
Okay, please tell me you, and then I'm gonna provide you with some feedback on what areas
Yeah.
to improve from your
Okay.
speaking. Okay.
Let me see. Over the last few years, has the way you spend your free time changed much? Okay. Mm,
You can use, for example, instead of saying my free time, in my spare time,
yeah, spare time, leisure time.
or yeah,
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, okay. I'm a spare time. Yeah, my spare time actually have changed a lot of in comparison when I was younger. Now, first of all, the way in how I spare, yeah, use my leisure time is right now, as you can see, studying, using for personal development. Yeah, that is in comparison in the past. I use it for leisure activities like play, listen music, get enjoy, just in that way.
Okay, remember, perfect. Okay, remember that you can speculate or maybe come up with ideas that are not real. It doesn't matter. You will
Mhm.
come up with something. For example, what I told you is that you have to use adverbs.
Yeah.
That will help you to sound more sophisticated when speaking.
Mhm.
For example, you can say drastically, right? Making allusion on what, on like if you were expressing that this way that you have spent your spare time has changed a lot, right? Drastically, or actually, you can say, right? I used to spend my weekends watching TV shows. Lately, I've been studying, or I've been getting into an English course, right? You can say that. I have been working towards my goals. You can say like this, or maybe I have been pursued my dreams. You see, something like that.
Mhm.
Okay, or maybe I am really keen on hiking or taking up a photograph course. I don't know. You can come up with so many ideas.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
whatever.
yes, that way. Or I've been spending a lot of time outdoors, more than I did previously, for example,
Yeah, okay.
or more than I used to
More
previously.
than I.
Yes, you see, it is because You are really fluent, of course, because we are English teachers. But in a C1 level, the examiners will assign, right? Will assess a sophisticated vocabulary. That you use sophisticated vocabulary, more complex structures while speaking, and that is why you have to improve that part.
Mhm.
Yes. Let's
Yeah,
take
okay.
another one. Have you ever read a book or seen a film or a movie that changed the way that you feel about something?
Mm, this one is interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Um, yeah. The the last month, actually, I have seen so interesting or amazing series that is related with personal development, people who increase their beliefs in order to get a change. Yeah, that mm, make me change my point of view drastically.
You can say,
Uh,
sorry, you can say my overview
my
instead of
overview.
saying yes. Perfect.
Yeah, that made me change my overview and even my mindset, because that give me a different point of view, a different perspective
Yes.
from how to see the life. Yeah, how to face the fears. Yeah, just to try to overcome whatever of the things that I try to do.
You can say as well, it had a profound impact on something in my life.
Profoundly. Yeah, I forget. I was trying
To
to
get back those
see. I had
phrases.
to get back that phrases. Meanwhile, I was speaking, but that is kind of
Difficult,
difficult
but at the
because
beginning, as long as you practice, the more you practice, the more fluent you will become.
yeah, because that is not normal that we as a teachers use a lot of adverbs.
Yes. But in this kind of exams, you have to. You know that
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to.
I trying to put in my mind. I was looking for the deep word. Yeah, because
Yes.
I would try to say a deep change, but I lost the word at the moment.
Yes. Okay. The next one. Do you think it is possible to keep the same friends for life? Or do you think your social circle will change?
Um, Yeah, for sure. Okay, I have an interesting perspective in this question. Being completely honest, yeah, because frankly speaking, there is no normal that you conserve the same circle social. Yeah, it is like the change of the life. Yeah, the normal change of the life that is completely common. That the same friends will not be your friends at the end of your life. There is I think bad or no congruent thinking because the people is in a constant change, as you know,
Yes. It's constantly changing, you can say.
constantly changing,
Yes. It is inevitable to keep
inevitable.
to keep
Yeah.
the same social circle of friends, of course,
Hmm.
because you can say the life paths, right? Life
The
paths,
life paths.
yes, diverge and evolves. You see,
Hmm.
diverge and evolves, and this kind of perspective of this concept or meaning of friendship will naturally drift apart. It will fade away, because some people are aligned with new one life perspectives, you can say, or overviews, and you might not share the same, right? That is
Mm.
a model answer
Yeah.
that you can
Okay.
choose. Number four, are you the kind of person who generally embraces or avoids change?
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Frankly speaking, I think all the people, yeah, every man, every woman is trying to improve and get better, to
Yes.
develop their perspective, develop their beliefs, increase their abilities, yeah, try to expand their skills. No, all the people is, I can, no one comes to my mind when I think to someone is avoiding the change, being completely honest, yeah.
Yes.
because that is the way how the people is developing for all of us.
Yes, great. Okay. For example, only you can just try to use more adverbs actually. For example, you can
Mm,
say, I am fairly adaptable to change. You can
mm,
say like that. And that is
yeah,
when I embrace it.
yeah. I think the real problem or my big problem is that I actually don't know a lot of adverbs. Yeah, in order to use it. Yeah, I will try to look for it more.
Okay, you can use the adverbs of degree that we learned on the previous lesson. Fairly, quiet,
Fairly
slightly,
quiet, slightly,
highly.
highly.
Yes,
Hmm.
all of them. And the last one. If you could change, if you had a chance to change one thing about your life, what would it be?
Hmm. What would it be? If I have the possibility to change just one thing, eh, I'm not.
Or maybe you can say that you don't want to change anything.
Yeah, that is the point. Okay, yeah, because from my the how to say it,
Okay.
as far as I'm
Yes.
concerned, there is nothing that I could change. Yeah, uh, I widely open to change whatever
Great.
of my problems. However, I am conscious.
I am aware of.
I am aware of those problems, those troubles, those things that maybe I did in a wrong way. Uh, was how to say it, was
What do you mean?
big. I tried to say it was a big.
Stuff.
No, not big. I don't want to use big. uh,
You can say an enormous.
yeah, I had enormous, a
Yes.
huge impact in how I am in this moment. Yeah,
Yes.
how I develop
Great. Nice.
until this
Perfect.
day. Yeah, I am trying. Yeah,
Instead of saying until this day, it is more natural to say so far.
so far, so
So
far.
far. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna share all of these little details so you can, at the end of this course, you can speak really, really fluent at a C1 level. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Now it's time to practice the listening part. Okay. This is the listening part to the sentence completion. You know what you have to do here, right? You
yeah.
have
Then
to complete these gaps with the words or short phrases that you are going to hear. But in this case, you know that in this case you are not going to hear the script or the audio as literally as it is in the written part. In the audio is going to be a little bit different, and that is why you have to be very, very careful and listen very closely to find out what is the correct word or short phrase here.
yeah.
Okay?
Being completely honest, I think this is the part that I hate hated more.
Yes.
Hated more.
Actually, me too, because when we carried out, when we took the V2 first exam, only by this part, my score will got lower. Yeah, only for this
Yeah.
part, because I didn't get almost anything.
Oh,
Anything.
yeah.
Yes.
I think this is the part that I hate more. I haven't big troubles. I think. Well, I want to think that my writing is kind of better than my speaking, but my speaking, as you can see, it is not completely right. But the part that I hate more, I think, is the listening.
Okay. Only one thing that you said. You said right now to have problems, something like that. Instead of saying that, so you can sound more advanced, you can use I don't struggle or I am not struggling
Ah,
with. Okay?
struggle. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Okay, so let me look for the audio and I'm gonna play twice, okay? And then I'm gonna show you what are the right answers.
Yep.
Number 2.1. Number 2.1, I think is this one.
Uh,
You will hear a student called Louis.
Yes, this one is. Okay, so get ready. Okay. This one.
You will hear a student called Lewis Rowe giving a talk about volunteering at a local museum, the Childhood Museum, and giving advice on how to become a volunteer. For questions 1 to 8, complete the sentences with a word or short phrase.
Hi, my name's Lewis Rowe, and I hope I can give you some idea about what it's like to work as a volunteer at the Childhood Museum. One of my favourite activities in the museum is the 19th century classroom. They've built a whole room with a chalkboard and old-fashioned desks, and kids can sit there and take part in a lesson. One thing you can do to engage them, because, it's hard to get kids to sit still for long, is to get them to shout out what dress regulations they think teachers from that period had to follow. And then you explain, female teachers had to wear ankle-length skirts, no bright colours, that sort of thing. Actually, a teacher's life was incredibly hard in those days. Employment contracts demanded they had to clean the classroom themselves, go to church, not be seen in the company of the opposite sex, but we avoid going into that kind of thing. The other thing you can do in the classroom is hand out a piece of paper and pen to each child and get them to copy the alphabet off the board. Of course, the shapes of the letters have really changed over time. They used to be very, elegant. Once you've had a go at that, do your signature on the board and ask the kids to do the same. Of course, in the old days, this was the traditional way to finish any kind of communication. But I guess now it's becoming more obsolete, and many kids may be trying it for the first time. Of course, being a museum of childhood, it's packed full of things that kids want to play with, and some of those things are more fragile than others. All the wooden toys are pretty solid and will survive a bit of rough handling. It's more the board games that you've got to look out for. They tend to fall apart quite easily, and the old-fashioned building blocks end up everywhere and take ages to put back in the box. But someone's got to do it. One piece of equipment you might want to think about taking is earplugs. It's actually encouraged by management if you happen to be in charge of the instruments for your shift. Visitors are allowed not only to pick them up, but they can also have a go at using them. There's a load of 1980s video games in the next room along, and they're nowhere near as loud. Volunteers sometimes get to help out in the kitchen from the 1950s. There's usually a cooking demonstration, and then kids are invited to sit down and try the food. The thing is, you also have to tell them about the table manners from that time, something I knew nothing about when I started. But there's a whole age range of volunteers at the museum, and two of the older ladies were happy to reminisce about their experience. I guess that's one of the interesting things about working at, the mix of generations. I've been volunteering there for the last 6 months, and I definitely recommend it. They don't just take anyone, though. You have to be selected at an interview. So, how do you make a good impression during an interview? Well, volunteers mainly deal with the public. That's interacting with young kids, chatting with their parents and grandparents, and then there are the tour groups. So, take the opportunity to show off your communication skills if you want to stand out. A bit of technical knowledge might come in handy later on for maintaining the museum's audio-visual equipment, but I think that's something the interviewer will take for granted, certainly with young volunteers. If you don't have any previous experience, don't let that put you off. It's your attitude that the interviewer is going to be focusing on. They can tell when someone's genuinely curious about social history, and that's what counts. It means you'll be willing to learn as you do the job. I think people assume you need a background in archaeology or the arts to work at the museum, but for volunteers, that wouldn't ever be the case. Now, if you're taken on as a volunteer, the museum will provide you with everything you need for the job. It goes without saying that the training sessions are essential. You'll also get paired up with someone senior for the first few weeks, and you'll be expected to wear a uniform, and I'm happy to report that it's actually quite reasonable, just black and white, nothing too offensive. Take care of it, because you'll only be given the one. So, any questions? Anyone?
You will hear a student called Lewis Rowe giving a talk about volunteering at a local museum, the Childhood Museum, and giving advice on how to become a volunteer. For questions 1 to 8, complete the sentences with a word or short phrase.
Hi, My name's Lewis Rowe, and I hope I can give you some idea about what it's like to work as a volunteer at the Childhood Museum. One of my favourite activities in the museum is the 19th century classroom. They've built a whole room with a chalkboard and old-fashioned desks, and kids can sit there and take part in a lesson. One thing you can do to engage them, because, it's hard to get kids to sit still for long, is to get them to shout out what dress regulations they think teachers from that period had to follow. And then you explain, female teachers had to wear ankle-length skirts, no bright colours, that sort of thing. Actually, a teacher's life was incredibly hard in those days. Employment contracts demanded they had to clean the classroom themselves, go to church, not be seen in the company of the opposite sex, but we avoid going into that kind of thing. The other thing you can do in the classroom is hand out a piece of paper and pen to each child and get them to copy the alphabet off the board. Of course, the shapes of the letters have really changed over time. They used to be very, elegant. Once you've had a go at that, do your signature on the board and ask the kids to do the same. Of course, in the old days, this was the traditional way to finish any kind of communication. But I guess now it's becoming more obsolete, and many kids may be trying it for the first time. Of course, being a museum of childhood, it's packed full of things that kids want to play with, and some of those things are more fragile than others. All the wooden toys are pretty solid and will survive a bit of rough handling. It's more the board games that you've got to look out for. They tend to fall apart quite easily, and the old-fashioned building blocks end up everywhere and take ages to put back in the box, but someone's got to do it. One piece of equipment you might want to think about taking is earplugs. It's actually encouraged by management if you happen to be in charge of the instruments for your shift. Visitors are allowed not only to pick them up, but they can also have a go at using them. There's a load of 1980s video games in the next room along, and they're nowhere near as loud. Volunteers sometimes get to help out in the kitchen from the 1950s. There's usually a cooking demonstration, and then kids are invited to sit down and try the food. The thing is, you also have to tell them about the table manners from that time, something I knew nothing about when I started. But there's a whole age range of volunteers at the museum, and two of the older ladies were happy to reminisce about their experience. I guess that's one of the interesting things about working there, the mix of generations. I've been volunteering there for the last 6 months, and I definitely recommend it. They don't just take anyone, though. You have to be selected at an interview. So, how do you make a good impression during an interview? Well, volunteers mainly deal with the public. That's interacting with young kids, chatting with their parents and grandparents, and then there are the tour groups. So, take the opportunity to show off your communication skills if you want to stand out. A bit of technical knowledge might come in handy later on for maintaining the museum's audio-visual equipment, but I think that's something the interviewer will take for granted, certainly with young volunteers. If you don't have any previous experience, don't let that put you off. It's your attitude that the interviewer is going to be focusing on. They can tell when someone's genuinely curious about social history, and that's what counts. It means you'll be willing to learn as you do the job. I think people assume you need a background in archaeology or the arts to work at the museum, but for volunteers, that wouldn't ever be the case. Now, if you're taken on as a volunteer, the museum will provide you with everything you need for the job. It goes without saying that the training sessions are essential. You'll also get paired up with someone senior for the first few weeks, and you'll be expected to wear a uniform, and I'm happy to report that it's actually quite reasonable, just black and white, nothing too offensive. Take care of it, because you'll only be given the one. So, any questions? Anyone?
Okay, I'm gonna show you what are the answers. Okay, Okay, later on, when after I'm giving you the answers, I'm provide you with a very very powerful trick that I discovered during this teaching. Let me see. Okay, number one is dress regulations. Um, Number two, signature. Number number three, board games. That's number four, instruments. Number five, table manners. Yes. Number six, communication skills. Number seven, social history. And number eight, uniform or uniforms. Okay, but I'm gonna show you why. As you can see here, this is the audio script. Okay. Yes. As you know, you are not going to hear exactly what is in the written part, but it is different. But the secret that I discovered during this time that I have been teaching is that the answers, the phrase or the short phrase or the word is going to be pronounced or mentioned very, very clear by the speaker in the audio. It's like the speaker makes a pause and it emphasizes on the answer. I know it is quickly, but you can hear very quick, very clear, sorry, the answer, the short phrase or the word. I don't know if you realize that phrase regulations, he pronounced it very, very clearly, and like with emphasis. Yes, yes. Signature as well, it did it. He did it. Board games, it he's he said it is because in the British accent they say board games like without the letter R, board games. It says like board games. I don't like that accent actually, but you have to get used to it. Yes, instruments as well. He said like something like kind of uh, they were playing about a visitor, right? Visitor is gonna play instruments. He told it very very clearly. There's one. Pick them up. It means yes, 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 because it says they can have a go at using them. They can have a go at using. It means that they can play, as it was in the listening task. They can play the instrument. You can use them. And then there's a lot of video games. Okay. Then he mentioned table manners. You'd also have to tell. Yes. This phrase, he told it, he said very quickly. Sorry, very quickly, but very clear. It's like in the specific answers, the speaker emphasized like in a very roughly tone when he or she speaks. It's like it's all like table manners. They say it very very clearly. But what you have to do is to be in context on your script on this listening task, so you can find out if it is true or not, if you are correct, listening to the proper answer. Yes, but the answer is, as I told you one more time, is being said very clearly. Then it says communication skills. It was very obvious this one because he told communication skills, yeah, social hi just yes, social history as well. It was very obvious. He told one more strategy and one more tip is that you don't have to be reading. You, as you know, you have 2 minutes. I guess that is no 1 minute. I guess it is that you're going to be given in order you can take a look at the script before listening. Okay, you have to analyze them, and then you have only to keep focused on what the speaker is talking about. You don't have to read because your brain will be confused, will get confused, and this is not useful. Yes, yes, right. hmm As I told you one more time, the answer is going to be mentioned very, very clearly. It's very obvious the answer, but maybe your brain is thinking about another ideas, and that is why you can get what is the answer, what is the specific short or word. Okay, and the last one was uniform. Yes, 3. Okay, yes, the easier ones. Yes, okay. So please, we have to practice, okay? We have to practice more the listening part. Okay. So now we have to practice speaking one more time. This is the part 3, the collaborative task. As you know, in this part you have to, okay, tell me. Yes, of course, for sure. Yes, okay. But first, we're gonna fill in these gaps so we can use this vocabulary, this useful language, and then we're going to practice with both this speaking part. Okay, so help me out. We have here some phrases in the box, and we have to fill in the gaps with every single one. Okay, it says number one, there is a distinct possibility that, you see, this is a little bit less. People in the future won't ever have seen coins or paper. Instead of saying it is very likely, you see, you say it is a distinct possibility that people, yes. Number two, the exhibition, we have are unlikely to, would be intrigued to. Yes, that is. Wouldn't be. Wouldn't be. It sounds better. Perfect. That is the answer. Wouldn't be complete without a few image of modern fashion. Perfect. Number three. Number two. Fast food. Then you have a commodore. So something representative that would be of interest. Yes, it's part of everyday life. So something representative about it, it will work. It will work. It will be of interest. Number three, future generations see the various means of payment we use today. It could be, but it's not. What about would be intrigued too? Yes, because they will be like in shock when they see that we have a lot of ways to pay today. That's what I mean. Okay. Number four, the photos on a phone. What people like to do in their free time. What people like to do in their free time would demonstrate very clearly what people like to do in their free time. Com- Completely lost. No, because you have photos on your phone, right? You got it. You're right. You have photos on your phone, and with that, if other people, right? If other person, you take a look at those photographs or those photos, they will realize or they will see what you like to do in your free time. That is what would demonstrate. So it means that these photos demonstrate in a clear way what you like to do in your life. Yes, yes. What is the thing that here that misconfused you? Or maybe you can do it by discarding. For example, you can say the photos on a phone is a part of everyday life. No, it doesn't fit, right? No. The photos on a phone would be in tweak too. No, of course not. Oh, the photos on a phone would not be complete without. No, right? Yes, yes. Okay. Yes, by the context. That is why you have to provide yourself with the context. That is why C1 level is a little bit difficult, but just a little bit. Yes, you have to analyze the context. Number five, online newspapers obsolete soon. What about might conceivably be obsolete soon? That is, yes, it means that the new online newspaper might come to an end. Yes. Number six, people be using newspapers as a source of information in 100 years' time. Yes. Yeah, it means that it is impossible. There is little possibility that the people will be using these newspapers as a source of information. Okay, now you can help yourself with a speaking list that I provide you with, and we're gonna start this part. And with this, we finish, okay? Because time is almost over. Okay, yeah. So the question says, how well, right, would these items represent our lives today, right? How well? A phone, paper money and coins, TV comedy programs, fast food menu, or a magazine. So, so we have here, yes, we have here 2 minutes to discuss about this, and then we're gonna have 1 more minute to reach to an agreement. Okay, so yes, you can say, shall we start? Shall we? For example, a phone. A phone has phones had to become like your loyal friend in the current society, because you people comes to mind all of the think this little device. It's like they don't want to get rid of it at any time. Yes, and it has become a very very like intrinsic part of our lives. Yes. It is like your loyal friend. Yeah, but I guess, no, but I am sure, I am realizing that because this fact is very harmful for people. Why? Because it's like this kind of a lifestyle that is leading to people is leading people to not be so critical. It is affecting the critical thinking because all of the time you want that a phone provides you with all of the answers of a task. It's like you don't want to think by your own, right? And it is a little bit difficult because, for example, in the current society, children used to tend to use all of the time. They are becoming addictive to these kind of devices, and they don't want to think. Even in some cases around the world, frankly speaking, children are losing their speaking and writing skills. Yes. But but do you think that the advantages are more than the drawbacks? Yes. But do you think that it could be challenging to get rid of this lifestyle of being all of the time with a phone? Because personally I don't think so. Because for example, you can little by little, okay, day by day, you can start getting rid of this kind of harmful routines of being using all of the time your phone, and once you get a hand of it, it could be a little bit easier to start uh, maybe playing another part in this case. For example, looking for another ways to do things that you just do with your phone. Yes. Okay. Now we have to decide which item would most interest future visitors to the museum. For example, let's imagine that we're in the future and some people will visit a museum. Which one would be the thing or the aspect that would interest the most in a high important part to the visitors? Yes, of course, because for example, the magazine, I think it could be boring. A Fast Few Menu, it doesn't make sense. A TV comedy program, no. TV comedy programs have been active throughout the time, right? And paper money and coins, of course not. A phone is the only one. Yes, so shall we agree on that? Yes, okay. That is the way that you have to perform this task. Okay.